Hey, what's up guys, Accounting Vision here. In this video we're going to go over accounting equation. So the main goals for this video is to understand what the equation is. I'll be giving you guys two examples for you to understand the equation and explain how the balance sheet relates to the equation. So let's start off with the equation. So the equation is assets equals liabilities plus capital. I'll explain each one bit by bit. So let's start off with assets. Assets are basically the things that you own. So they can be like cash, it could be like mobile phones, or it could be cars. But take a look around you. The stuff you can see and touch is basically an asset. So it could be like a house, it could be like your furniture, it could be your, I don't know, it could be your ruler, pencil, you name it. It's basically an asset. Next, we got liabilities. Liabilities are the things that you owe, so they can be like taxes you have to pay, or it could be a loan which you have borrowed, which is a liability. And finally, for capital, capital is also known as equity, and it is also known as reserves. And there are two types of reserves. One is capital, and the other is revenue. For capital, it can be like shares or owners or investments, whereas for revenue it's normally relating to profit. So you can see that capital is all relating to shares and profit. Okay, let's look at an example. Let's say you pay £2,000 to your trade payables, also known as the supplier, and you have £10,000 of assets, £3,000 of liabilities, and £7,000 of capital. And because you are paying £2,000 to your trade payables, using the money, it will affect the assets and liabilities, because assets are also part of cash and liabilities is also part of trade payables. And because we are paying, it reduces the amount we have to owe to them. So basically we're going to have to reduce the assets by £2,000. So we're going to write that down here, and we'll have to do the same for the liabilities as well. Like that. So now all we need to do is add up both sides. So this becomes £8,000 here, which will equal £1,000 plus the £7,000 of capital. And you can see that both sides will always equal, and no matter what you do with the equation, if you reduce the assets, you have to also reduce the liabilities or capital. If you want to increase the assets, you will also have to increase the liabilities or capital. I hope that part makes sense. Okay, let's look at another example. Let's say Jake invests £5,000 in our business, and we currently have £8,000 of assets, £1,000 of liabilities, and £7,000 of capital. And because Jake invested £5,000 in our business, it's going to affect the assets and capital. Reason why it affects assets, because we're going to receive the money from him, so it's going to increase the assets by £5,000, and it's going to increase the capital by £5,000 as well, because Jake is now part of the owner of our business. So now all we need to do is add up both sides. So this side becomes £13,000, which should equal £1,000 of liabilities plus the £12,000 of capital. And you can see that both sides will always equal, no matter what you do with either side. If you increase the assets, you're going to have to also increase either the liabilities or capital, and the same for the opposite. I hope that also makes sense. Okay, finally, let's look at our balance sheet. All you need to know is that the accounting equation is pretty much the same as the balance sheet. Let me show you why. So here's a basic structure of a balance sheet. So you can see that here we have total assets of £13,000, which is basically this figure there. And if we add up the liabilities and capital, it will become this figure there, which is £13,000, which is these two here. So you can see that the accounting equation is pretty much the same as a balance sheet. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. And just to summarize, assets are basically what you own, liability is what you owe, capital is part of the owner or investment, and the balance sheet is pretty much the same as the accounting equation. If you found this video useful, please like it, and also subscribe if you want more videos like this every week. Thank you for watching.